Yeah, sorry for the white screen. Hey everyone, I'm Poppy Mewmi, and today we're gonna play Stillwaters. And the story is basically about seeing strange things come at a price. A woman arrives with a mysterious letter in hand addressed to her grandfather. Etched in crimson is a forbidden message. Oh, foreboding message. Awarding a promise made from a time forgotten. Private investigator Hugo Laurent and his assistant must solve this bizarre case before an old family curse befalls them. I'm reading this from the game page. It has 4 endings plus 1 ending, epilogue plus achievements, point and click exploration. So yeah. So let me just open the game. Sorry about that. Auto for time. Don't know what that means. Ah, this was. Oh, how did I meant solve was? This is a work of fiction. The resemblance to any real life people is purely coincidental. This game contains depictions of horror, mature themes, violence, and strong language. Your discretion is advised. I'm sorry, seeing this reminds me of like, like when you play every Persona game and you'd be like, this is a work of fiction. Achievement unlocked. Caretaker. I'm sorry, but I can't stay here anymore, Nina. I feel like I'm going crazy. Calm down. If we can just talk it out. So many strange things keep happening one after another. Every day, there's a damn dripping sound. I thought it was just something leaking at first, but I check every faucet, every ceiling, everything, and still I hear it everywhere, constantly echoing in my ears. Please listen to me. Oh, but the water, the damn water. Water? Yes, it's everywhere. Pools of it all over the house, and every time I try to mop it all up, another will appear. There's no end to it. Ah, but it's at night. It's at night when it comes. What are you talking about? I hear someone or something walking along the hallways at night. Maybe it's just your. Oh, maybe it's just my grandfather. No, Nina, it's not him. I thought it was, but it's not. But I seen it. That thing. I only glimpsed at it once, but I'm more than certain that thing was not your grandfather. Ever since that night, I would lock my door and pray it would walk away past my room. I don't know what's going on, but I swear it just keeps walking, always walking on pools of water. Sometimes I hear them randomly. Their steps are erratic and faint, but I can still hear them. Hi, Ellen Tuber. Oh, VTuber. I'm doing fine. How are you? Just a steady pace up and down the halls. But I think recently it's no longer like that. What do you mean? Every morning, I follow to see where the wet footstep leads. Oh, you doing okay? That's great. Most of the time. It walks towards something more clearly than before. It would walk down the halls, climb the stairs, and turn corners. All of it, I follow. Eventually the trail would come to a stop. And it would all stop right by your grandfather's room. His room? If this is some sick joke to scare me away, then please stop. It is not a joke, Nina. I mean, when I said that there is something wicked going on in this house. This can't be true. I know this is a lot, but you have to believe me. I can't stay here any longer. I'm sorry, Nina. It's okay, I understand. Thank you for taking care of my grandfather up till now, and I'm sorry for all the stress I have caused you. I'll be sure to pay you right away as soon as I... Nina, listen to me. I don't know what's happening around here, but... But what? The woman on the phone cautiously looked around, turning her head constantly back and forth, looking over her shoulders to find if any others listening in. She grips the phone so close to her ear in a vice-like grip before speaking again in the hushed tone. Something's terrible is lurking in this house. I don't know what it is, but please, as soon as you get back, take your grandfather and leave this place. Leave? I just can't leave everything behind. We have nowhere else to go. Please, Nina, this place is not safe. The rumors, they're true. The curse is real. My family is not cursed. But Nina, at this rate, you and your family will. Enough. A pause. Gold and sharp tenderness. Oh, tenseness, not tenderness. Silly me. Strains the call as both women, exhausted and stressed beyond their comfort, try to stifle their growing frustrations towards one another. Neither yielding to the other's fault, only leaving anger and hurt to fester through the silence. After what feels like a suffocating stillness, Nina finally sighs heavily and responds bluntly to the caretaker. Look, I don't know what you heard or saw, but I can't just leave things like this. Whoever or whatever they are, they will answer to me. I won't let them have their way. But the caretaker said, obviously, what you're dealing with is not human. I don't have time wasting my energy on stupid curse. So if you can't help me, then so be it. I'll find a way. Nina. My grandfather is all I have left. He is all I have left. Dinner, 7 a.m. You think the grandfather's gonna die? Amid the foggy morning, there seats a man by the corner of a booth. He drinks black coffee and, depending on his mood, occasionally orders a donut. Classic. And today, it was just black coffee. Damn, you look tired. Ugh. I swear, I never seen that amount of paperwork in my life. A freaking mountain worth of it. You're a vulnerable member of our team, Hugo. My foot. I'm starting to believe that I was bamboozled joining their agency. Wait. Oh, I do have that. Okay, I need to remember that. Actually, how many saves do I have? Wait, is it anything before? Hugo Laurent, age 30, takes a good look at his cup of joe and chugs it all in one sitting. He then continues to grumble to himself about last night's grueling work of the office. Well, at the office. I really need to find a different job. As he contemplates his poor life choices, he looks out towards towards the early mist. There was something inherently terrifying about the fog to him, how it engulfs everything and nothing. Even if it disappears, it always leaves behind traces. Because the music sounds kind of low. Wait, no, not low. Proof of it remaining. Even in a quaint little town like this, I can't even run from my fate, I guess. That's a lot of notes. Yuko finally stares at the compiled newspaper clippings he put together. Some of them from recent events, but mainly all were past headlines of missing person case. No matter how many times I see this, it's still just so hard to look at. Fixating case after case, he can't help but to remind himself that there is a reason for all of this. An all too personal reason. Seeing strange things come with a price. In the end, I'm the one doing this to myself. Sounds rough, mind if I join? Cue ya? An annoyingly familiar voice interrupts his train of thought. He slowly looks up to see one responsible, although reluctantly. Oh, he's a cutie. Good morning, Hugo! Hugo scowls and turns away from him. He then gathers his files and shoves it back into his binder. Meanwhile, the tall man takes this as an initiative and sits at the opposite end of the booth. He greets the waitress passing by and orders himself the hefty body breakfast special with an extra plate. As usual, the waitress is happy to oblige and goes back to the counter to relay his order. The man then looks back at Hugo. He sees the empty cup and the now jumbled newspaper clippings, all the while Hugo is trying to ignore him. You really should eat something with the black coffee. Not ordering any donuts today. I'm fine, Noah. I'm just not in the mood, okay? Not even a little. There is a momentary silence between them before Noah disturbs it once more. Well, too bad for you. I ordered a big breakfast for the two of us. Two? That looking quite good, not gonna lie. As if the world could grace Noah with even more of a perfect punchline, the food arrives. Why the hell did you order for the two of us? Just eat what you want to eat. Don't worry about me. Wow, Sharab. Right, Hugo? Are you even listening to me? Come on, we both know that if you don't eat now, who knows when you and I am not about to let you faint again. Faint? How often you be fainting? So open wide. Noah D. Leon, age 27, a natural-born charmer, is also the only person in this world who lovingly threatens him to eat every day. With a pensive look, Hugo finally gives in and eats the generous spoonful without further complaints. It's good. Right, good food will always help cheer you up. Damn him, I got swept away again. Oh, by the way, the chief... Oh, the chief. Call it chief. The chief will be out of business trip. She mentioned it will be for a couple of days. When did she tell you this? I didn't hear anything about it. Yesterday, I think. Yesterday. She told me to sort out the cabinets yesterday. She didn't mention anything about a business trip. I guess it was pretty sudden one. Well, I mean, she did tell me to tell you. And lucky me, I know where you go every morning. You know that I'm not surprised anymore. Well, what do you want to do? We technically have the day off. I'm gonna head back to the office. There's a couple of boxes I didn't get a chance to sort out. In that case, I'll come with you. Why, you could just rest for the day. And pass up the opportunity to get to know you better, Kyuya. So quit it. After their enlightening banter, the two of them finish their breakfast, pay for the meals, and head to Hugo's car. As Noah opens the door to the passenger seat, he notices a bloodhound sleeping inside. Aww, puppy. It's so funny, like, if you like pull this back, like, then you get to see like how everything, and then it just plop back. The big dog stares at the sound of the car opening and lazily stares at Noah. Oh, I'm sorry, big guy. He then closes the door, trying not to make too much noise to disturb its occupant. He then closes the door while trying not to make too much noise to disturb its occupant. Colby? Huh. At the sound of his name, his heavy eyelids slowly peek to see who calls for him. It is his one and only partner, his human. As if finally realizing who he is or where he is, the old bloodhound stirs up from his sleep, pounds at Hugo, and proceeds to wag his tail uncontrollably. Good morning again, Colby. Had a nice nap? Colby, 8 years old, Hugo's most faithful and loving partner in crime, has the biggest tendency to just sleep all over the place. Noah, who was witnessing all of this from the backseat, chuckles to himself. He is amazed and slightly defeated at Hugo's sudden urge of energy. It doesn't matter how many times I try. When it comes to boosting up his mood, no one can beat Colby. Agency, 7:50 a.m. Hold on. The three headed back to the office. The space is just the same as Hugo left it. A decent, organized mess. Not really that bad. To his credit, for mountains of boxes he painstakingly went through, he believes he did a fair job. I'll bet it could have been better. Wow, you really outdid yourself, Hugo. It looks less crowded. Ah, shut it, will you? I said I was going to get to it. Thanks, boy. Before Hugo continued to give the deserved head pats, he noticed someone. A woman sat timidly peering outside from the storefront. She looks a bit frantic and even more restless, with her disheveled and ill-fitted clothes draw an emphasis to her already too visible petite frame. The woman tries to grasp the door handle several times but stops before she could touch it. Her brows furrow, agitated and distressed about something, so much to the point it's preventing her from just simply reaching out for help. However, when she finally makes eye contact with Hugo, she immediately rushes in. I'm so sorry. I know that the close sign is up, but I still saw you and came in, and I... Are you alright, miss? I need your help. My grandfather, he... Oh, so you must be Nina. Before she continued explaining, Noah swiftly cuts in front of Hugo and intervenes, and all too practice-mannered. It's okay, miss. We'll hear what you have to say. So please, why don't you sit right over there? Noah gestures to one of the empty seats at the other side of the office. The woman hesitates for a moment. She clutches desperately to the strap of her purse, her eyes focusing apprehensively on them and at the gesture seat. After mewing over Noah after, she quickly glances back and nods. The woman then walks towards the corner of the room and sits at the edge of the sofa. Her posture is very intense, giving no sign of comfort for even a brief moment of peace. Can you start off by telling us your name? I apologize for earlier. I'm usually a bit more composed than this, but I guess I'm failing at that too. My name is Nia Mortimer. Or Mortimer. Morty? I think it's Mortimer. Hello, Miss Nina. My name is Noah D. Leon. I am the one of the assistants here. This bad guy next to you is our other lovely assistant, Colby. And this one brooding over here is Private Investigator Hugo Laurent. I'm not brooding, I'm just tired. And our chief is away on business, but I think we can still accommodate you. So how can we help you, Miss Nina? Just a moment. Nina appears to be a bit more relaxed, more hopeful, maybe even relieved from the warm welcome. However, she once again tenses up. The guilt and shame comes rushing back to her face, visible by the creases of her brows, and she once again realizes why she's here. I need help watching over my grandfather tonight. Tonight? Yes, I know this is a strange request, but my hands are tied on this. It has to be tonight. I'm sorry, Miss Nina, but I don't quite understand. Is your grandfather in any danger? I think someone is trying to take him away. Take him? Miss Nina, I think you should contact the police right away. They are far more equipped at handling this kind of situation. No, they're not. I've tried requesting their help, but they gave me the same answer verbatim for weeks now. They would send someone out to watch over the matter for an entire day, but at the end of their routine, they will always report back nothing unusual. They saw no one else leaving or arriving at the house other than me or the caretaker, and despite telling them all the details about the letters and all the strange things that's been happening, there is nothing they can do about it, but just sit around until it escalates even more. I can't wait any longer. Any more than this, then it'll be too late. If only if I knew who Lois was. Lois? She let out a gasp, her hands shot out to cover her mouth, realizing she said too much so carelessly. He tried to avert her gaze, but Hugo stared persistently at her. Miss Nina, who is Lois? Are they the one causing all of this? Once more, she contemplates her brows and knit closely together as she bites her lips nervously. It is as if her words wanted to say have suddenly died out, too heavy to even utter. A mistake she can't take back. Before the silence stretched further, Noah speaks to Nina with a gentle, reassuring tone. Miss Nina, I know it's scary. All of the things you have mentioned to us so far, no one should ever have to experience, especially by themselves. And I assure you, we'll listen to all of it. I promise. Wild and mantic eyes searching deeply at them, desperately trying to discern any doubt or mistrust on their face. However, all she sees are people who are willingly tried their time to simply listen to her, to actually help her. From this alone, Nina looks to the side where her purse is and opens it. Tucked inside one of the pockets, she takes out a single, slightly crumpled envelope with a pigment red wax seal pressed in the middle. At a glance, Yuko can tell right away that the letter appears to be a bit worn out and antique. And yet, despite the delicate form, it remains well preserved, well kept, as if the letter itself was untouched by time forever, waiting to be opened. Grandfather has been receiving cryptic letters for the past month now. The letters didn't come with an address or name of the sender, but this one is different from the rest. It had a name Lois on it. As she hands over the letter, Hugo notices her hand slightly shaken. Nina is still avoiding his gaze, but he knows she's trying in earnest. The voices. But before he could reach out his hand, he senses it. A faint shift in the room, unnoticeable to the others, but all too clear to him. There is something very wrong with this letter. Suddenly Hugo recalls his hands away in pain. Like being struck with something sharp so spontaneously, so memorable, that even if the pain disappears within seconds, a hint of it remains. Something so small akin to a prick from a rose thorn, or more like a paper cut. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. No, I'm fine, Miss Mortimer. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Hugo stares currently at the cut as the thin red lines start to form slowly by the top of his index finger, trailing down and stopping just above his first crease. The red so clearly visible it's taunting. That doesn't look like a normal paper cut to me. Let me get you a band-aid. It's fine, Noah. I don't need one. But really, it's fine. It doesn't even hurt that much. Noah takes one good look at him before slightly expurgatingly and sitting back down in his chair, still eyeing on Hugo's hand. Hugo shrugs and returns to his attention back to the letter, but this time, luckily, nothing happens. For it is to reach all the way out here with just a letter alone is truly terrifying. Carefully, he removes the contents of the envelope and unfolds it. At first, it looks like any other normal written message. A person named Lois is asking the other, Henry, to come meet him by the lake at midnight, needing to share something important with him. However, what eerily striking about this is not the letter itself. Appearing at the bottom of the page, a message squalid, unlike the rest, stands visually out to Hugo. A message that shouldn't be there. Remember our promise, Henry. When did you receive this letter? Yesterday. And your grandfather, where is he right now? He's currently back in the house with a caretaker. I promised them I wouldn't be out for too long. I made an agreement with them, you see. Oh, what sort of agreement? The caretaker we have now agreed to watch over my grandfather, but only during the day. Before nightfall, they would leave exactly the same time. Before nightfall. I want to believe that this is the whole thing that was an elaborated scheme to scare my family away. I know this sounds crazy, but at one point I thought everyone was in on it. The mail carriers, the officers, the caretakers, everyone has had a hand on making my family suffer. But this one was different. Up till now, I have never heard of anyone by that name. Not a relative or family friend. But they clearly know whose grandfather is. If I don't do anything about this, I'll lose him too. Just by uttering the words alone, Nina begins to break down. The stress, anxiety, fatigue all of it was finally catching up to her. Her body hunches forward, her hands pressed close to her eyes as she tries to cover the stream of tears running down her face. As an act of comfort, Colby sits closer to Nina while Noah fetches tissue for her. Hugo, on the other hand, is puzzled. She said this whole thing has been going on for the past month, but something doesn't add up. And before nightfall, I think there's more to this than she's not admitting. Whatever happens with this letter, I'm more than certain that whoever or whatever Lois is, they're coming for blood. Ooh. Okay, I'm assuming doing this is just ending out the back. So let me just grab my pencil and paper to write down so I won't be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna reject the case. Hugo casts his face downwards to stare directly at the ground in front of him, unable to look at Nina. The burden, the solitude, the madness, Hugo knows all of it too intimidatingly. He suffers the same confidence that weigh heavily on her mind. And yet, in spite of all of this, it is too much for him. Like walking along the tight road with the ground void and unclear paths of empty and dark. So very, very dark. No, I can still do it. We can still do this. Before he could respond, a distant voice so charming, so terribly accommodating binds him to the spot. It's already too late for them, you know. No, not here. A dull but yet distinct pulsing sound so rhythmic in the tune starts its maddening melody. From the top of his crown down to the base of his skull, his feet is all present and daunting. Just let go. Let me help you. No, I can do it, if you would just let me. Snake-like hands wrap around his head so closely, squeezing even more tightly, that he can't help but to try to shut his eyes from the pain. Such a kind person you are, Hugo. Hugo tries to ground himself. He tries to remind himself to breathe. A sweet and beloved friend. Try to remember there and other people that care for him. The joy and warmth of their company. I wish you could have done the same for me. To remember that he is here and present and that he is useless. Hugo, hey, what's wrong? Tugging at Hugo's coat, Noah tries to catch his attention but fails as he notices something amiss. Hugo? There is a despondent look on Hugo's face, his eyes distantly exposed but a deep haze as if lost in them. He won't budge, no matter how many times Noah tries to tug or shake him, he still will not respond. But for Hugo, he can hear everything. Like a paralysis he can't wake from, his body sits there motionless and detached from everything. Desperate and concerned, Noah tries to turn to Nia and usher in a serious apology. I'm sorry, Miss Nina, but I don't think we can help you at this moment. If you would just come back a little later, then we can. No, it's fine. There won't be a next time. Hugo winces at her cold and blunt remark. No, wait, Miss Montimer, please. Nina stands abruptly from her seat. She wipes away the tears quickly from her reddened face with the sleeves of her coat and looks down. Once more, her tense, cold form-like demeanor returns to the forefront, already trying to forget and move on. Without so much a word, she slightly bows her head towards them and walks out of the office, not once looking back. Bad and pulling strings. Well, that was something. where it all begins. Play still waters for the first time. Pull the strings, turn down the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are blank. Take the case. Do you want more tissue? We'll do it. We'll take on your case. For a moment, everything goes still. The eyes and attention are solely directed at Hugo, whose eyes have certain glint to them, now unwavering, and more determined than ever. Before anyone else speaks, Nina stands up, wipes away any stray tears from her face, and walks up to them. Well, to him. You'll take it. Hugo simply nods. Thank you, thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. We're glad to help, miss. Nina, please just call me Nina. Well, Nina, we'll do our best. Nina smiles at Hugo and knows in gratitude her eyes renew with a faint gleam, a hope that maybe things will change for her and her family for the better. However, before heading out, Nina reaches out her bag once more. She takes out a small piece of paper and a pen and hastily starts jotting down something. 4970 Church Street. I best be on my way now. I best be on my way right now? Yeah. I'll let my grandfather know ahead of time you'll be coming. Also, this is my address. I'll be sure to greet you all when you arrive. And thank you again, truly. She politely bows to them and walks out of the office, already reaching into her purse for her car keys. Hugo watches from his desk as she goes open the driver's seat. Nina looks back at the office window and takes one look at the Hugo. Let's look at Hugo. She waves slightly at him before finally pulling out of the parking lot and driving off. Once out of sight, Hugo turns to look at his clustered desk, still messy but presentable. I guess I have to sort these out later then. Car, 5:30 p.m. Oh, it's raining. Hold on, guys. I will be right back. From going... Oh. From the ongoing downpour to the quiet hums of the car, they sit in silence. Still miles... What was that? Still miles off their destination, Hugo constantly checked their rearview mirror to see any passing cars. But it was only them on the road. Noah, who usually chats his ear off by now, leans quietly against the car door as he looks at the passing streetlights, reserving and distant. He hasn't said a word to Hugo since they left office. Hey, you're a lot quieter than usual. What's wrong? What's a surprise? You've been looking at me, Kyuya. No, idiot, you usually just talk a lot, that's all. So, do you miss me talking? Just say it. Do you believe her story? What? Given all the things she told us, do you think she's telling the truth? Not everything. Yes, I believe her, or else I believe she hasn't lied to us. But you know, I can't shake this feeling that she's hiding something. Like if she left out certain details on purpose. Also, why did she just travel this far out of town for a private eye? Surely there must have been another far closer to home than ours. I just don't know how to explain it. As suspected of Hugo. Are you making fun of me? No. Oh, no, not at all. I'm just admiring your observations. I didn't want to offend Nina earlier, so I kept quiet until she finished. But her last name caught me off guard. Haven't you heard of the Montimers? They're a pretty distinguished family that own a steam fishing company. Well, they used to, I believe. They have yet to name it here. What do you mean? Shouldn't it naturally go to Nina? It should, but I don't know. From what I heard, each time they try to name a successor, that relative mysteriously disappears. Gone without a trace or anyone fought. The bodies would soon turn up a month after. And you know what's strange? All of them have been labeled as accidents by local news. No foul play, just another unfortunate loss for the family. They've been stuck with so many tragedies that over time people begin to believe that they were cursed or something. Cursed. I think I understand why she wouldn't go to help to the police again. Most likely thought she was seeing things and went along with the procedure just to keep face. But deep down they must have thought she had gone mad. I can't imagine all of this for Nina. And most of all, who knows what we'll find there? Is that why you decided to come with me? Well, partially. I'm more worried about you though. Why me? Oh, me why? Think of it this way. I'm the appointed driver. When you decide to do some pretty reckless shit, I'll be there to drive you to the local hospital. Besides, 2 is better than 1. Exactly. I'm fine with Colby coming with me. Well, have you heard there is 3 better than 2? Montimer Estate, 6 p.m. Sorry about that. Passing through countless dirt roads and steep cliffs, the estate can finally be seen beyond the evergreen. Nestled away from prying eyes, it stands tall, magnificent, and classic. Truly a rarity and only afforded to privilege. And yet, with all this opulence, it looms from a distance. Sorry. Hyuga and Noah could only gaze at the sheer scale of the manor. Its grand stature topples easily over the dozen's house That's the houses they drove past. Wow, look at all the size of it. I could have never imagined seeing a house like this in person. It's almost too surreal. Come on, she's waiting for us. Immediately after exiting the car seats, a sudden sharp pain weighs heavy on Hugo's chest. Grasping tightly at his coat, he begins to gasp for air. His vision hazes as he leans closer to the car, tightly desperately trying to ground himself. Like a fish run out of the sea, he desperately heaves. The air in his lungs, escaping too quickly, burns as he feels his throat starts to drawing tighter and wilder he breathes. But this pain is pale in comparison to the feeling far more excruciating. Is it the house? No, something far more sinister. He feels that something is watching him, a piercing gaze fixated on him, like leering a bug and waiting to strike. We'll be together soon, Henry. What the hell? Damn it already? I need to hurry or else. Hey, are you alright? Noah calls out to him, snapping him out of the fixated trance. Kobe nudges his head against Hugo, whining with a concern over his partner's well-being. Did you hear that just now? Hear what? That voice. It was so close to my ear. Is everything alright? Oh, I'm fine, don't mind me, I'm just winded out from the trip, that's all. I'd be happy to make you tea at the very least. If it's no trouble. No, not at all. It's the least I can do. Once again, the subtle uneasiness from Nina surfaces. But before Hugo go and get a chance to look further into it, she walks off towards the porch without saying another word. Are you sure you're alright? You sound like you were choking earlier. I said I'm fine, besides we're already here, we can't back out now. Listen to me, I think you should. Now Bradley cuts his lecture short as he notices Nina stopping by the front door. She stands by the door silently, contemplating something. It's just like before, but at the same time she seems even more anxious. Whatever uneasy she tries to mask earlier becomes more apparent the minute she walked closer to the front door. I haven't been quite honest with you, Detective. Just like before, as if carefully choosing her next words, she decided that in this situation, words are not enough. You see for yourselves what I mean. And with that, Nina entered the house, leaving the three to follow behind. Hugo is about to enter through the foyer when he felt a tug on his arm. Don't forget what I told you. If something happens, let me know right away. You'll be the first to know. And with that, Noah releases his grip on Hugo. They proceed to head in, not knowing what will await them beyond the door. Huh, why? That was a weird laugh. Greeted with a brightly lit hallway, Hugo notes immediately that the interior is just as grand. Adorned with fluorescent and antique furnishing, the house itself seems exuded with word elegance. A classic and rustic charm with the walls and flooring made from finest wood. Hugo couldn't help but gape when he walked in. However, he noticed something even more distinct than the splendor. Behind the seemingly perfect veneer, an unsettling air withers throughout the house, leaving a room for a doubt that the inside of it is far more terrifying than the outside. Please come this way. they're still in the same place. Bracing themselves, they have entered the dimly lit drawing room. At first glance, Hugo and not discern the silhouettes situated at the far corner. Only the spare lighting from the window pierces through a fraction of the room darkness. However, as they approach the closer of the silhouette, Hugo now understands the reason of all of Nina's unsettling vagueness. Grandfather, we have gas. Your grandfather is possessed. Either that or that's how his eyes look like, but he looks possessed. Sitting on the armchair is a very young man, not much older than Hugo or Nora. He is dressed modestly and shares none of the imposing presence of the manor. No, rather such luxury does not even remotely reflect on the man before them all. As if the flows of time had stopped only for him while the rest had continued changing drastically without him. Just like the letter, timeless, delicate, and drawing out of place. Staring only at the window, the young man sits there dazed with little acknowledgement of the people around him. Still motionless, like a doll. Grandpa, there's people I spoke of. This is Detective Lurid and his two assistants, Colby and Noah. They're going to help us. Even after introducing them to the head of the Monter estate, you get no that couldn't help but to feel unnerved. The man before them supposed to be frail and older than any of them, and yet he remains forever unchanging, forever young. They come a long way, so I'll be making some tea. Would you also like some, Grandpa? He does not reply back, nor does he glance at Nina or anyone else in this room. Only fixated his gaze on the rain, nothing else. I'll be sure to make a cup of tea for you two. She then timidly gestured Hugo and Noah back to the foyer, bearing more questions to follow Nina outside. But before they leave the drawing room, Hugo takes one last look at the young man. There is all too familiar air about Henry Montana. What's that? His eyes, they're similar to his own. Whatever he must be longing for, Hugo knows it will never end well. Nina, that man. Yes, he's my grandfather, the one I asked you all to watch over. I know this is hard to believe, but... Nina draws something out of her pocket. It's an old picture of the handsome man with the slicked hair wearing the finest suit. The gentleman in the picture has a different air to him, one of the wealth and power, none of which reflects at all on the current Henry Montana. It's almost as if looking to two different people. This isn't much to go by, but believe me, they are the same person. Then why does he look so young? It happened a few nights ago. I was on my way to get a cup of water when I heard a loud thud coming from my grandfather's room. I was worried that something fell over, so I went to go check. When I opened the door, I found him collapsed on the ground. I wished to help him, but when I did, he looked so different. He wore the same clothes that my grandpa wore that night. And his face, I recognized his face. He looked younger. So many things have rushed through my head at that moment, and yet I knew he felt familiar to me. I know it sounds bizarre more than I talk about it, but that's what happened. That was also the same night I found the letter. It was next to him, already open. I'm sorry again for all of this. No matter who I went to, they said earlier something was wrong with him or my family. With everything going on, maybe they're right. Oh wait. Did I? Okay. The pools of water, the letters, Lois, and now this. I've been ignoring these signs for years and just blindly hoping things can get better if I try finding solution on my own. But that's not enough anymore. Maybe my fault is really... Oh, maybe my family is really cursed. No, they're not. Curses aren't real. Detective. I think we easily get too involved and to believe that sort of thing exists. And true, the one who fixated on it makes it their reality. Rumors, doubts, lies, all of those things are what they want to become real. Deep-rooted emotions like that can possibly be healed or fixed right away. But like a curse, those emotions drags other people down with them. Personally, I think you were caught up all in this. But I assure you, we'll see this through. For you and Mr. Montana. Thank you. Good. Now, our first priority is to find out more about Lois. Nina, the letter you showed us back at the agency, do you have it with you? Yes, it is here. Do you mind if I borrow it for a bit? I'll be sure to give it back. Of course, but what are you gonna do with it? I searched everything on the letter and I still couldn't come up with clues. It will be useful is as a reference or a guide, if you will. I'm afraid I can't discuss too much of the process, trade secret and all. Haha. Of course. I'll check upstairs. Noah and Colby check the ground floor. Got it. Before they leave to do their own investigation, Hugo grabs a hold of Noah's shoulders. He leans in closer for Nina not to hear. Keep a close eye on Mr. Montimer and Nina. Especially Nina. I don't want her to be dragged to any more than she already is. So whatever happens, keep her safe. Hugo, you. Fine, babe. But remember, yell for me, okay? I know, thank you, Noah. I'm counting on you. You too, boy. With a final nod at them, Hugo then goes towards the staircase and head upstairs. Noah stares for a moment longer at Hugo, but before he disappears into the first floor, he turns and looks at Colby. Well, it's time we get to work, right, Colby? Investigation starts. The object is to look around the area for objects and to proceed. Sorry. Let me just bring this down. There we go. Use the arrows or the arrow keys to move to different areas. Outlines will appear clickable. How do you manage to butcher that? Outline will appear on a clickable object. On the top right is a hint button. Click it will highlight an object you missed. Okay. No. Mr. Montimer still sits motionlessly by the corner of his room, his gaze never leaving the rain. Woof woof. A delicate arrangement of violet and white roses. They seems to be fresh and fairly new. An old rotary dial telephone. It looks like it's still in good use. A large bookshelf stands close to the entranceway. It contains a couple of photo albums and a few phone books. Frame decorating the wall are covered with white sheets veils with a thin lining of dust on top of each one. Wow, there are so many paintings cover the walls. Are there more like Are there more like this all over the house? Yes, my grandfather commissioned many back in the day, but sadly he doesn't do that anymore. Nina, I can't help but to notice the paintings are covered. How come? I did that. I covered them up for my grandfather's sake. For his sake. Yes, he was pretty obsessed with them, you see. There were times when he would mutter to himself and would just stare at the paintings for days on end. It worried me so much that I had to cover them all. Since then, he hasn't stared at any of them. He just sat quietly looking outside. I'd see. About the paintings, I also noticed that they're all similar themed. They all had water in them. I know this isn't a coincidence since you've told us before, but if there's anything you know, anything at all, then please tell me. Noah, can I ask you a question first? Oh, sure, go ahead. Do you believe in mermaids? Mermaids? I don't suppose I do. Why? Casting her gaze to the floor, Nina anxiously fidgets and tightly claps her hands together. She then briefly sighed and continues. Well, there's this story, or rather more like a fairy tale, that my family has passed down. A fairy tale? Well, yes, it feels like one to me. It's about a fisherman who fell in love with a mermaid. Every day and night he would go out by the shore and gaze at her beauty, but one day she vanished, leaving him confused and heartbroken. Determined, he would sail many seas for a chance to see her again. Sailing from coast to coast, new lands beyond and back, he would go. No longer after, fortune followed him all throughout his journey, and he made one of the wealthiest and most highly respected in his village. However, despite all the wealth he gained through his travel, he never found the mermaid again. She would only be a dream, nothing more. And that's the end of the story. It doesn't end happily, but I guess it was a lesson behind all of it. I just never understood it. What do you think happened to the mermaid? I know it's exaggerated, yet I can't help but to wonder. It's hard to say. I just feel bad for both of them. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of sad endings. If it were me, I would wish the fisherman and the mermaid could see each other again. Or at least, that's what I think. Even if they weren't meant to be with each other. Yeah, I think so at least. I wouldn't even want to imagine going through a journey all by myself. It's hard being alone. A journey by yourself. Montimer Estate, 11:30 p.m. Let's look at here. Paper. A lot of chairs. Chests. After searching vigorously for each of the rooms, he knew his findings would eventually lead him here. This is it. Hugo walks towards the nearest lampshade and switches it on. Dimly emulated, he sees the extent of how lavish the part of the house is, from the customized window drapes into the vintage furnishing. Everything here excludes the extra vintage. But much like the interior Hugo has seen so far, he finds that this is the particular reeks of it. Plastered from the wall to wall, a gloom lingers. It's as if a room itself is mouldering despite its preserved nature. classic wooden chest lies at the foot of the canopy bed. It looks still firmly holds, safeguarding wherever its side. A meticulously organized set of academic books ranging from non-fiction and geographics are all still on display. However, hidden away behind the collections are some children fairy tales, all carefully kept. Scattered pieces of paper all forgotten lie within the cold floor. However, X markings found scrawled all over the papers. A restrained pearl white tea set sits by, untouched and unused for quite some time. A lettered bound journal rests on the edge of the table. Its pages are turned out by haphazardly that the binding itself is starting to fall out. An old photo of a lost time, a sweet summertime memory of a little girl with her beloved grandfather. On top of the fireplace, unable niched and unremarkable by time, hangs a curious and familiar painting of a beautiful woman floating on water. I need to hurry, I don't want to stay here for too long. Mount Timer Estate, 11:50 p.m. He searches and searches, and still there's no sign of Lois. To Hugo, even if there's a fragment, a singular thread to that person, to the real selves, he could have found them, but there's nothing. Not one thing pertaining to him. It is as if the thought of Lois barely exists at all. What is going on? I clearly sense the presence from before, but it's all gone again. Damn it, I wish I had more time. No, calm down, it has to be here. I just need to focus. He ponders again, retracing every step and every little detail, hoping he overlooks something. Yet all he knows is that one of the tangible things about connects to him, that tether and closely to his space, and most of all to Henry, is the letter. Words of promise of love and all delicately etched on the page, but tainted with powerful and dark emotions that has been festering for too long. Tainted. From the very start of all this, Hugo believed that whoever Lois was, they were one responsible. He thought that he could find and convince them to stop their hunting for good, to bring them peace and to move on. However, that isn't the case anymore. The unnatural force that binds everyone so close together in this family is not the cause of an angry spirit. No, it's more something far more devious than that. As he takes the letter out from the envelope, he notices a change within. Bearing no foreboding thread to the bottom of the page, it looks just like a regular letter, or rather what it once was. A sad and tragic love. If you cannot come, then I understand. Things have gotten more complicated with your mother ever since she found out about us, right? I'm sorry, Henry, for everything. It hurts to see you so torn up like this. I would have never hurt you or drag you along with me. If this is to be our farewell, then can I ask you one last favor? Could you keep my locket? I know this is selfish of me, but I'd like for you to have it. I'll be happy to know it's safe with you. My heart will be forever yours, Henry. With love, always, Lois. So this was the true letter. A small wreath emanates from the paper, wrapping closely around his fingers, quiet and soothing. The fragrant Hugo was searching for. fragment, not vagrant. Lois, I'm sorry. You are also a victim in all of this too. Please, if you can hear me, I need your help. Without warning, the sound of a click can be heard across the bedroom, as if something unlocking itself. Hugo turns his head towards the sound and sees the chest. Unlike the other furniture, its dark and rustic features have not been maintained well, left to rot on its own. Suddenly he stops to the sound of voice, a sweet voice whispering to him, beckoning him towards the fireplace. Come here, my dear, sweet boy. Go to the painting, don't go to the painting. There, mounted by the fireplace, is a painting of a beautiful woman floating on water. Her pale skin is incandescent, brightly prominent against the contrast in the dark, murky waters that keep her bound to the canvas. Hugo stares intensely at the picture. An emphatic sorrow swells within him. Hold on. Me back. Disarming his very senses and forcing him to inch closer, surrendering himself to the sweet song. Poor thing, how lonely you must feel. Oh, sorry guys. Okay, now I'm back. Sorry for the hold up. You are a lot like him. Like Henry. As Hugo approached closer and closer to the painting and his mind screaming to run, he sees it. He can finally see beyond the facade the lady portrays, for what the painting truly is. But don't worry. I can take away that saddens. A deformed creature, a mermaid, floats above the surface. The voice whispers. Large, hollow eyes stares back, boring deeply into his eyes. Her skin is melting, bleeding heavily like black ichor as it gushes out from the canvas. Some of it starts to hit not only the floor but Hugo as well. The black vicious tar clings presently onto him, unrelentless as they continue to pile up. And then he feels it. Withdrew him initially to this thing. A deep sense of longing rushed through him, seven out what little control he had left, finally embracing this nature. To come home. Take my hand. Without hesitation, Hugo reaches out his hand while his body leans in closer to the mermaid. She grabs and pulls him in. Not once looking back, he dives and follows after her, returning to nothing. Bad ending. Beyond the painting. Approach the painting. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, stay focused, Hugo. I won't let it get to me. Preparing himself, he heads towards the chest and opens it. Inside, scrambled together a bunch of notebooks and small trinkets. Hugo continues rummaging through when he stumbles across an old newspaper article. Young man found dead by the lake. An unidentified young man was found on the morning of XXXXX. 3 days prior to his death, according to police. Ruled as suicide, police have claimed that the troubled youth drowned himself. This certainly is a tragic loss and a fortunate event indeed, XX comments. No claim of his body has been made yet. Lois. By the corner of Hugo's eye, he spots a bright glint buried beneath the clutter. He reaches for it. A pendant. A locket of a brilliant gold shines unable to mished it and retaining a timeless luster. Inside is the safeguard of a picture of a young man with glasses smiling brightly. This must be the locket that he was talking about. It's so pretty. I'm surprised it still shines like this. And this picture. Did he put it there? No, it must have been Henry. But why would he store it away like this? What should I do? I should hold on to this for now. Take to him, please. A gentle but distant please echoes to Hugo's heart. A forgotten X of yearning and regrets grips him deeply. Feeling not of his own start to rise his small ripples on the palm. Wanted to be found again and remembered. Don't worry, I'll bring it to him. I'll make sure of it. Hugo's about to put everything back in the chest when he feels sweat and cold sensation crawling up his leg. What? Water? A pool of water restlessly spread across the floor, already seeping into the chest. Damn it, no! Suddenly the lights shut off. A screaming is heard, followed by myriads of shouts. Hugo's about to call out for Noah, but he saw the set of pale feet before him. Looming over him stands a tall, ominous figure. His face is shrouded in complete darkness, devoid of any human emotions. It appears as a young man, but Hugo knows that it's far from it. No, this very thing is trying to imitate a human form, trying to be human. Hugo could only stare back. Paralyzed with fear, he is forced to watch the horror as it slowly creeps towards him. It's just like before, the sensation of someone staring at him from within. But this time it's drawing nearer, itching ever so closely. The words to call out Colby and Noah fails to reach out. Lodged into his throat, he struggles in pain. With his breath shallows, he tries to force his body to move. And then it stops. Looking down at Hugo, filled with nothing but malice and contempt, it speaks. Don't get in my way. All of a sudden, the door to the bedroom slams shut and the entity disappears. The toucher from this room finally releases its agonizing grip and he grasps desperately for air. His vision blurs and his breathing is haggard. He staggers towards the door. He yanks the handle several times but is tightly jammed. Free. Noah, Colby! To his dismay, he's only greeted with silence at the others at the end of the door. Damn it. From a distance, he faintly hears son Colby recklessly barking to get further away from the house. Hugo rushes towards the window. He tried to pry it open, but it's not like the door is a heavy force preventing him from doing so. Like being underwater. His mouth is slowly and drawn out, as if dragged down by that thing. Freak this. Frantically looking around the room, he spotted a nearby chair. About a moment sooner, Hugo grabs a chair and starts to strike the window. Bit by bit, the window cracks gets larger with each blow, splitting off smaller pieces. What the hell is this thing made out of? Still trying to catch his breath, and with all the strength as he has left for a final blow. Damn you, just break already. Clearing out the remaining glass shards, Hugo peers his head out to see any railings he could grab hold of. However, he discovers, instead of the wall adjacent, is covered in ivy. Despite how ivy the rain is drastically becomes, he reaches out for it and grabs a handful of the vines. Carefully, he clamps down the window, gripping tightly as making sure he doesn't lose his footing. Yet, with his luck, the path of the vines he clutched starts to tear away from the wall. Out of desperation, he struggles to find the grip to another but fails when he slips out of the reach. Crap. Ow. Clamoring wildly as he loses grip to the ivy and crashes laying down into the thickest of bushes. Air forced out of him, he heaves uncontrollably, trying to even out his breathing. But even that is laborious, as immense pain spread across not only to his back, but his entire body. God, I'm getting too old for this. Although his body screams out in pain, he forces himself up. There's still time, I can still do this, I have to do this. With staggering feet and haggard breathing, he makes his way to the place where it all started. To the lake where his tragedy starts and ends. Lake? Question mark. Finally entering the park, Hugo calls out to Colby and Noah. Colby, Noah, where are you? He hears a faintly sound of bark and echoes of people yelling in the distance. He watches the echo guiding him through the downpour. With his heart racing and blood rushing in his head, he finds his way to the lake. Drawing closer, he sees Nina giving chase to her grandfather. Unfortunately, she doesn't get too far, as Noah stops her. Grandpa, stop! Grandpa! Let me go, my grandpa, he's... No, Nina, it's dangerous. You'll get hurt too. I don't care, I don't want to lose anyone anymore. It is as this instant Hugo trudges against the water, pushing in Nina's steed. Hugo? No, don't. Please falls deaf to his ears. Not even the whines and worries cries of the park that could make him turn back. Determined, he forges ahead. Nearing to the deep end of the lake, he sees Henry Mortimer gazing directly at the abyss. He looks even more frail and disheveled than before, as if all the life he lived up till now to this point has begun to fray. Draining every ounce of himself and surrendering to all to take the lake. To what? Before Henry could lean in, Hugo reaches out and tugs his arm. Mr. Mortimer, listen to me. Nothing is waiting for you down there, so please come back to the shore with me. Motionless and unresponsive, he stares deeply into the water. His haze over his eyes is still obscure and persistent. There are so many things we can't afford to lose in our lives, and you're one of them. To Nina, you're all she has left. She needs you, Mortimer. Mr. Mortimer. Hugo felt it. A silent dread from January on, as if stirred by emotions of Nina. He slowly turns his face to Hugo. Nina. However, just as cruel and violent as the storm, Henry drifts back, wrenching his arms away from Hugo, hold on him. No, all of this is my fault. If only if I got Lois sooner, then none of this would have happened. He was waiting for me, was patient with me, and yet for all the things he done, I chose my family over him. He's gone because I didn't pick him. Henry backs further away from the shoreline. Mr. Mortimer. His manic eyes never strain away from Hugo as he keeps his distance from him. Lois, I'm sorry. I was the one who dragged you into this. You deserve so much more. And I wish... Henry struggles over his words. He claps tightly into his shirt, his throat dry and taut from all that he bottled up, from all those repressed and silent years of waiting for your curse to finally take him. I wish I had gone with you that night, Lois. Sir, even if you still conveyed that wish, it wouldn't resolve anything, not for you or Lois. I read what he wrote to you those years ago. You understand if you didn't want to see him. But the thing is, Mr. Mortimer, Lois never thought anything less of you. He said so in the letters to you. His letters. For the longest time I wanted to believe he hated me for that, resented me for that choice. Or at least I thought it was easier for me to think that way. How long has it been since I talked to him? It's been too long, sir. That is why you don't have to shred all the pain by yourself anymore. We can talk about it. About you and Lois. All of it together. His eyes are back to normal. Hugo extends not only his hand to him, but a promise. A promise that Tani can yearn for so long. A way to forget himself. He hesitates at first. What a fool believes in a deserved forgiveness. Such a thing doesn't exist. And yet, despite everything, Hugo still reaches out to him. To a stranger. Maybe he can be forgiven. Just as he would about to reach out for Hugo, a hand slithers around Henry's instead. His arm unnatural contorted around him while his head perches around his shoulder. This thing. This Lois is no longer pretending to be human. With a piercing, cold green eyes, it glares directly at Hugo, mocking him, cursing him, wishing nothing but despair. We can be saved. We can be forgiven. There is only one true way out of this. I wish to share with you the happiest of endings. Before Hugo could reach out of Henry's head, he disappeared to the water. Mr. Mortimer! About hearing the anguished cries and desperate pleas, Hugo dives after him, into the abyss. Question. Plunging into the icy water, Hugo feels shocking running rampant throughout his body. Like spikes continuously piercing from his leg to the tips of the fingers, fiercely and unyielding. His chest tightens as his heart reaches as he begins to kick his feet. Hoping whichever way he goes, he finds his way to Henry. Swimming deeper and deeper in, he sees faintly a figure showing descending into the darkness. As he finally gets closer to Henry, long snake-like arms stretch across the void and grab Hugo's neck, finally squeezing all the air out of him. He tries desperately to reef its hands away, but with struggle, Hugo moves and begins to weigh heavier and heavier. Lois, where are you, Lois? Is looking for Lois? Digging deep into the coat pockets, he grabbed tightly to his hand and locket that Henry Keep had for long forgotten. Okay, so I have to go back to that one choice and not choose the locket. So a different outcome. Holding it out, it shines ever so brightly in the dark. Ah, there you are. He releases his grip on Hugo and instead reaches out for the locket. Taking this chance, he drops the chains and kicks it with all his might to grab Henry's arm. With his heart and body screaming in pain, he swims desperately to the surface. Almost there. I just have to. As the light from the surface begins to glow, Hugo makes one last attempt to reach for it. With his limbs worn out from his energy spent, this is all he can do. Before he loses his consciousness, he notices a figure swimming towards him, getting closer and closer. And then everything fades to black. Question. Drifting along what feels like an endless sea, Hugo courses through the waves after wave. Not knowing where he's going or caring for what that matter, all he knows that he's very, very tired. How long has it been since he has a good night rest? It's been too long. Maybe I should take this rest now. I like that so much. I agree that you deserve it, but not here. I'm sorry for startling you. I just wanted to see you one last time before I go. Lois? You done so much for me, Henry. For me and Henry. I can't thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. No worries. I just want to thank you too for watching over me. And also, I want to apologize for my remarks from before. I really thought I had things figured out once I found you, but you know how it turned out for me. It's alright, really. After all this time, I didn't think anyone could hear me. Especially Henry. Lois. I was worried about him for so long. He always wanted to keep me away from his personal struggles, to keep me safe from them. But I was stubborn for my own good. Honestly, I don't regret it, any of it. Even if I could no longer reach out to Henry, fate weave its thread back to you, our tangent connecting us once more to this very moment. And for that, I am forever grateful to you, Hugo. You're welcome, Lois. From a far distance, Hugo hears a voice crying out to him, begging for him to return. Well, they're waiting for you. I guess they really are, huh? Take care, always, Hugo. You too, Lois. Lake. With his eyes closed and his senses still running, he feels the constant tug and look of a certain bloodhound, whining as he tries to wake up his partner. Hugo! He also hears a familiar voice, too annoyingly close for his comfort. Eyes shot right open, he jerks up. Confused, Hugo looks around before he cups up the remaining water in the slung. Are you alright? Noah starts to pat his back while Chloe continues to whine over Hugo. What happened? Where's Mr. Mortimer? He's safe, so is Nina. They're both okay. The police and the ambulance should be arriving soon. Thank goodness. Isn't this more you have to say to me? Instead of thank goodness, I swear you don't listen to a damn word I say. I'm sorry, Noah. Exhausted, he lets out a sigh. Then he continues to pat Hugo back aggressively when someone approaches them. Detective Laurent? Oh, Nina. There's someone I want you to meet. Behind her stands an elderly man. A frail in state, he timid looked and decides pensively as he ponders to himself. Although his youth has long faded, his eyes are what catches Hugo's attention. They're no longer piercing and vicious green. Their eyes are just like Nina's. Hello, Mr. Mortimer. Detective. I never got the chance to say goodbye to him. I always thought about it every day. Even if Lois live on in this world, what if he stayed a little longer with me? It's because of that constant mindset I drag everyone down. And I keep hurting not only me, but Nina especially. I was the one who keep hurting her. The one to blame for all of this. But you, someone never met, still went out of their way to save me. Not knowing my burdens or my faults. Thank you. Hugo reaches out to Henry and smiles brightly at him. It's my pleasure, sir. But before he let go, Henry tugs at Hugo's hand one last time. I hope that someday you two will overcome it. The next day, 8 a.m. Well, good morning, Hugo. You're bright and early. Morning. With much fervor and haste, Hugo resumes writing on his notepad. Although, by closer inspection, he looks like he's going to combust any minute. Are you writing up the report? Without looking up, Hugo responds back. Yeah, for the most part. You still need to write yours too. I will. But since I haven't had breakfast yet, and I don't like eating by myself. Let me guess. 2 is better than 1. Bingo! Wow, Hugo, you're really catching on. I'm so proud of you. Ah, shut it, will you? I swear, if I only hadn't fallen off from the goddamn window, maybe our report would have been shorter. Before Dora could begin to cut the bacon, he paused at the mention of Hugo report. Oh, by the way, might you tell me what happened to Montimer's window? I broke it. Well, it's obvious to me. What I don't understand is, why is it broken? Do you know how much it costs to repair windows like that? I know, it was really dumb of me. I'm sorry. Besides, I told Mrs. Wartai about it before we left. Honestly, I was expecting an earful from him. And also the bill, and surprisingly enough, he said it was okay. Ah, lucky us, right? So what, you just call it a day after all of that? Thank you so much, Mr. Mortimer. You broke it, you pay for it. Would you chill? Of course I'll pay for it. But each time I keep insisting, he shrugged it off. Said that we already went through a lot for them, so it was nothing in comparison. Ugh. You know what? He's right. After all we went through, we deserve at least a nap. Before he could walk away, he stopped and saw a familiar person walking towards the storefront, carrying something with her. Good morning, you two. Just barely a foot through the door, a certain bloodhound stirs up from the resting spot and makes his way towards Nina, tail uncontrollably wagging. Good morning, you two. Colby. Nina stretches behind one of Colby's ears, making his right foot uncontrollably move on its own, scratching an invisible but desirable spot for him. Good morning, Miss Nina. Morning. What brings you here to this time around? Is everything alright with you and your grandfather? Yes, he's doing pretty well, actually. Even better than before. We talked so much last night, I hardly slept at all. But honestly, it's been a while since I spoke to him so freely like that. I hardly felt tired at all. That's wonderful to hear. But before there's something else I want to ask you both of you for. To put it bluntly, I need your help. Again? If you two aren't busy, I would like some company eating these. Inside these clear plastic bags are a stack of 2 boxes placed upon... Inside the clear plastic bags are a stack of 2 boxes placed upon the top of one another. She opened the box and the top reveals a tray of neatly decorated donuts all lined it perfectly. No crumped or squished pieces. A work of art in Hugo eyes. Wow, so pretty. Donuts. They look so delicious. We're more than happy to eat these with you, Nina. Aha. There he goes again with his donuts. But yes, please join us, Miss Nina. We were about to have our breakfast too. Weren't you, Q? Always so brazen in front of others. You don't make it exceptionally easy for me. Ugh. You both have such great chemistry with each other. On a second thought, I'm tired of this. I'm way too tired of this. I'm going to have to apologize in advance for this, Nina. But truthfully, I've been running around late last night on coffee and I'm about to pass out any minute now. No worries. Honestly, I think it's a little break time sounds like what you all need right now. Thanks. Hugo puts down his pen and proceeds to head for the couch. Colby follows after him. Would you like to join us, Miss Nina? I would love to. I guess we saved these for later then. Yes, please do. Now come on, it's nap time. Noah sighs heavily before sitting down to food on his desk. He then gestures Nina towards the sofa, in which he happily takes his over and joins them. I'm getting old. I mean, you are old. Shut it. Hehe. This really is nice. Good boy, Colby, come here. Nina quietly coos him and begins to scratch at the back of Colby's ears once more. Hugo leans a little closer to Noe, his voice above his whisper, but close enough Noe can only hear him. You know, I'm glad that you came along yesterday. Oh, what's this? Are you getting chummy with me now? Call it chummy or whatever, but I really mean it. If you haven't seen me back there, look, I told you before, I'll be there whenever you get yourself in a reckless shit. Besides, Eiji said that it was nap time. Get some rest, you deserved it. You too. A calm silence fills the room as they pass under the morning glow. No big parties or celebrations. Just each other company and sharing a small reward. A small and warm comfort. Good end. Case closed. The bromance on that one was high. Okay, save Henry. Okay, so that means you have to go back to all the way to that one ending to do, well, go back to that one decision and do not choose the locket. I think it's best to put it back for now. You could hear a distant faint cry calls out to him, pleading him to take the locket with him. Lois? Hugo is about to put everything back in the chest when he feels a wet, cold sensation crawling up his leg. Wait, actually, let me redo that back because let's redo that again because I miss a bunch of dialogues. So basically, our therapist says, "I'm curious, waiting for the kids to take. I wish I've gone with you that night, Lois. Sir, even if you still convert the wish, it wouldn't resolve anything. Not for you or Lois. I've had enough. Lois is waiting for me. He's waiting for me to come home." Before he even reached out Henry's hand, he disappeared into the water. Mr. Mortimer. Into the past. So if you don't have the locket with you... A familiar getting hungry... No, Henry... Long snake-like arms stretch across the void and grab his neck, violently squeezing all the air out of him. He dies gesturally to stretch out the hands away. But with each struggle, Hugo Buford's begin to weigh heavier and heavier. Water filling in his lung and the vision starts to blur. The cold numbness spreads, swallowing him, embracing him. Let's share the happy endings together. He feels nothing. His body weightless and floating for who knows how long. It's cold, so very, very cold. How long has it been since he felt this? The empty feeling of just not being here or anywhere. It's comforting and not nostalgic. Maybe, just maybe, it isn't so bad after all. I think this is for the best. Oh no, it's not fair. Oh no, it's not. It's far, far from over, Hugo. After all, you said yourself. Same things you do come to with a price, right? And oh, what a hefty price has been paid for your stupid little blunder. So, get up, Hugo. We are far from having a happy ending. Hugo. Hugo's eyes shot right open, his vision distorted and a blur. As he tried to focus on a voice, a violent tide burst within him as he coughed out the remaining water in his lungs. He can feel Noah's hands rubbing against his back, anchoring him and checking to see if he's alright. But deep down, there's something far more concerning to worry about at this moment. Where's Mr. Mortimer? I'm sorry, Hugo. I tried going back to the water after I fed you, but the paramedics stopped me. They told me it was too cold and dangerous to head back in. No, it can't be. I'm so sorry, Hugo. No, please God, no. He couldn't hear the rest of it. His body trembles as his head clasps tightly together in a fervent prayer, wishing for a miracle to happen before them. To have Mr. Mortimer return to them finally safe from harm. But for the silent wish, the small and glaring impossible wish, no one would answer. There was no kindness in the sunrise, only gut-wrenching wails of a woman by the shore pleading to God to save her grandfather. But no matter how many would try to search through the water, they wouldn't be able to find him. For there was no one left to save anymore. Just a washed up forgotten tale of a man and his mermaid. As Hugo tries to stifle his cry and soothe the lump lodged deeply in his throat, he hears it. A laugh, a cruel, heartless laugh echoes from across the lake, mocking him, cursing him, and harboring a merciless victory of this curse. A curse. It was all a curse after all. Bad end, a mermaid tale. Left the locket. Okay. How do I get the other two? Maybe options. No options. I think I know. Because take the locket. Skip all that jazz. And save. And just keep skipping. Ah, there's more. Hugo's apartment, 12 a.m. It's already nightfall when Hugo and Colby arrive back home. Hugo, already too tuckered out from the remaining assorted mess he left behind for himself, lazily shed off his coat and shoes, while Kobe headed straight towards his bed. Making his way through the unloaded boxes and cramped spaces, one by one, Hugo strips down his outside clothes and switches to his regular shirts and sweatpants he found laying around. He plumped down onto the couch with his head laid back to his eyes, closed as he lets out a heavy sigh, releasing all the tension left in his body. Another day done and gone, right, Colby? Beside him, he hears the faintly romantic delayed breaths of his large companion, who was already falling deeper into sleep. Hee, I wish I could sleep quietly like you, buddy. He gently pats Colby's head. Good night, Colby. Thanks for today. Hugo does one final stretch before he repositions himself to lie down to the couch, tugging at the blanket by his feet and wrapping it around him. His body begins to rock as his breathing falls into similar cadence, finally allowing the warmth to gather and hug him closely, all snug and safe from the drafts by the window. The voices. After he begins to slowly drift further and further off the slumber, he feels something. A slight chill gazing above the base of his neck, never touching, but distinctly present all this time. All the same. Although his senses are too dull and lacks to properly focus on this sensation, he does, however, huddle closer into the blanket, hoping the chill will go away. Suddenly, he hears the front door to his flat shut so sharply, so harshly it as if someone or something had rushed in with enough force that he felt the room had shaken a little. Hugo, wake up! Now Hugo is wide awake. He tried to get up and face the intruder head on, but stopped to realize one terrifying thing. He can't move at all. His warmth and covering from the blanket he felt moments ago ceased to be. His own body locked in a deep further, leaving behind a very conscious to be awaked by death, afraid by his own presence. He struggles to move the muscle in his face, trying to desperately to call out for his partner to get his attention. Colby. Or Colby? Colby? I was keeping us at Colby. But despite his effort in uttering his dear companion's name, he is met with no response. In fact, he can't hear or feel Colby anywhere near him. Just the raging, erratic tempos of the heart drumming in his ears as he lays there, defenseless, vulnerable, all at the mercy of this thing. And then he hears it. The sound of feet dragging across the wooden floorboards. Dragging closer and closer towards him. Not again. He wants to run. Run far, far away from here. Run till he feels the fiery tempest with him burns his lungs, leaving him scored and choking in on ash. Anywhere but here. He shut his eye tightly and begins to study his uneven breathing, hoping that wherever the sniper is, he can wake from it. He has to. However, everything comes to a halt when he suddenly feels that some chill once more, but this time lingering all over his back, persistently hovering over him. He knows it's here. Sitting near him is unbearable. His breath hitches as he feels the intense, prickling feeling on the hand hovering so closely above his head he could feel it. He wants to cower, to hide forever away, but he can't. This frightening thing that has been following him, stalking him, hunting him for years, will not rest until he gives in. His own curse. a sudden his phone rings. Like a spell lifted off from him, he can move again. Hugo's eyes darted again in the direction where the person should be, hoping the chance to peek just a glance at the thing that hunts him. But there stood no one. Only the moon shines reflected from the window shines piercing through the wet shadow. His eyes shoot once again, and where Colby should be, he found the bloodhound to be there, alerted by the sudden ring of the phone, and also Hugo, who looks more disbelieved. Well, not disbelieved, disheveled and whined out. He takes a deep breath, setting his heart as he takes the phone in his hand and answer. Oh, it's Noah. What perfect timing. Hugo, I'm so sorry to call you so late at night. I forgot to ask you about the festival that's coming up in a few weeks. I was wondering if you'd like to come with me. I know you say you don't really care for outdoor stuff, but I promise you it's going to be fun. Hugo, are you there? Yeah, sorry, no, I'm here. I guess that's a no, right? No, I mean, no to your, no, I'm sorry, I'm a mess. What I meant to say was yes, I would like to go with you to the festival. Oh, wow, I'm a bit surprised, but happy, nothing less. Well, I don't want to keep you from your hard-earned West, so I'm going to end the call. Wait, Noah. Hugo, you're right. Can you stay a little longer on the line with me? We can talk about anything, I just need a company right now. Of course, Hugo, I can stay on the line with you. Thank you, Noah. You know what I was thinking about. A dangerous pastime for sure. I was thinking maybe we should just move in together. And now you're back to your brazen self. Wonderful. What doesn't it sound like a perfect plan? I can cook, Colby loves me, and I'm a good looking. See, a perfect package all in one. You really don't know when to crit, huh? Nope, not at all. I can be quite stubborn, remember? Without a doubt, the most stubborn man ever. There was a moment he decides between them before a fair fail. Between them before the pair fell into a fit of laughter, filling the room with warm and bright feelings. Hugo melts back at the warmth of his blanket, letting the heat pull once more around him, surrounding him, protecting him, to remind him that he is here with people who loved him and accept him all the time. A reminder, a comfort in the darkness. Wow, that was a stutter. A reminder, a comfort in the darkest night. True and the dead of night. Oh, in the dead of night. To be continued. Ooh. Thank you for playing. Save Henry, receive a call. Thank you for playing. Got all the endings. Cutscenes, background, sprite sheet. Oh. Look at all those details, dev notes. thank you for playing again. Okay. Well, we beat the game. Actually. Well, and this took me 2 hours and 15 minutes. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by, and I'm gonna end the stream here. From tomorrow, I'm gonna play. Today's Thursday, so from Friday, Saturday, I'm gonna play Infinity Nikki. And on Monday, I'll play a different game. So, thank you for stopping by, everyone. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.